Hello everybody, Mike Arnold here, co-founder Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino, checking in on Ethereum. I haven't done that in a couple days. So prior, or a few days actually, so prior we had this low area about 450 with this first cluster area. We hit that, rotating back to a rotation zone. Then again, you could drag this down because we had a nice correction. Which gave you 436, which we hit and paused for a bar. And then eventually down to 423, actually 427 to 423, we dipped down just below that to 421 and then rebounded sharply with the reversal move. So I'm going to take all this out of the way now and update all the key levels, and then we'll check in to see how we're doing. So I'll just put those, I'll keep the minor levels on there now, and then we'll look at the major levels in a bit. So all right, rotating hit, going back up to rotation zone. Actually, it's a nice sideways move. This was a strong reversal. Again, you could have done that 50% technique, which is pretty much over at this point. Let's check in with the daily really quick. Then we'll come back to the 4 hour. So you had this really nice 1 bar, and you are looking for it to hold the 50% level. If you were doing any purchases in there, it did not. You can see that now. So if you were doing anything with its rotation back up, you at least should have moved your stops right below this low, which would have stopped you out then, because remember, you're against the rotation zone, so anything you're doing is aggressive. Even though you had a slight divergence down here, you know, you had a nice buying bar. Again, it got stuck at the 25%. It popped through the rotation zone, but then couldn't close. Remember, we always watch for closes beyond the rotation zone. Popped through to the 25% GAN level, and also this prior resistance area you see right in here, closing with the rotation zone, and then couldn't hold it, drifting back down lower. Really not interested in doing anything, at least till this can recover and we can get this some support. Maybe come up, catch on the get the rotation zone to cross, and then move higher. Now, if we do rally, first, now this was support, now it's resistance. So support resistance coming right around 446 to 450. Then if we pop through there, I'd really be watching for, you can watch for about 458 to 460. And on a strong rally, this area that's still resistance is major resistance. And we have this GAN cluster 472 to 478 with the declining 50. Let's look over at the daily chart. Now, this couldn't even get back to the 8 on the daily. So there's just, and it's dropping, the 8's catching up. This is a weak market, so I would wait for a high probability pattern, which we do not have yet, and just sit on your hands. There's no need to rush into this. You're not trying to call the bottom. Now, if we get back down through 421, we're looking at 405, then 389 based off those key levels. And that's on this minor swing. We can also do some more major levels off this bigger swing here. Let's just see where those take us, and I have to adjust them because they're set to the doubles levels. So let's just go with the 12 and the 25 and see where that takes us. So expanding that, that takes us down 395 to 389, and then possibly 369 to the downside. So there is plenty of room to run still on the downside. Switching over to Monero. Monero, we had this nice little double bottom pattern. Ignoring this spike high, it was, I believe, a bad tick. So went from these lows to the high here, which gave us 3 targets and the prior resistance level, which came up to 127, which we got just above, and then spiked above again, and now starting to drop. And what's interesting, now we have a double top pattern. So I'll show you that. It's a little sloppy because you have this extra rotation in there, but it's fine for using for levels to see where the buying levels could be if it holds there. Or if you were willing to short it, those would be your target levels. So you really have a cluster right around this 120, right where it's trading now. If we drop below that 119.50, then 118 are the key levels to the downside. We did get the first cross of the rotation zone, so but it's again dipped below it, could not hold it. Made this rotation back up, but then sellers came in. So sellers are still coming in here pretty substantially. Now, if you want to know if we do catch on a rally and you want to know where we could go, so this is where we can do the forward GAN level to here. If we can get above this 130 level, then we're looking at 132.71 then 135.65. If we break below this 118.06 level, then I'd be watching for, there's might be some minor support about 116.50, but then it's really nothing until we get down to back to the 108.80 level. Checking in on the daily, again, there's just a lot of weakness in these cryptos, and it can't sustain a rally, so you have to be very, very patient. Also, you see here, it is in the rotation zone, but if it rallies back up, that 132.71 there, it's just behind the 21, so I would really pay attention to where it closes in relative basis of this 21. We did have this was that double bottom pattern. There was no divergence here because this RSI formed a higher low, and so did price action, so that's not a divergence. I'd just be patient and wait to see if we can catch on that 4-hour rotation zone and get above the declining 21 on the daily basis before I looked to do any kind of pullback trades, because there's just too much weakness going on right now. Monero is acting a little stronger than some of the other ones, but there's still not a lot of strength in it. So just, what the next targets are to the downside, and be patient and watch for strong moves off that. Or if you have another kind of bottoming pattern you like, then use that if it hits those key levels. That's what we have for you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.